Okay, we certainly have a lot to talk about today, my good friends. I'm just going to try to rip through a lot of this as quickly as possible. There is a couple of actually important things that I think artists and creatives want to know about that are sort of a call to action, if you will, where we're given opportunities to put comments, put input forward. This is the first of the important things. If you're going to look right here, so Senator Chuck Schumer, who, look, I'm ambivalent about politicians. I think they're all evil. They all take corporate money. Every single one of them really is just looking to enrich themselves and make their corporate masters happy. I don't care if you're red, blue, magenta, purple polka dot, flying purple people eater, doesn't matter. You've really got one agenda, and that's to make your corporate masters happy. Now, what narrative you use to kind of satiate your voter base, well, that's where a difference. It's all absolute bullshit. So they are having a AI forum, and you would think, great, let's have this conversation in the political theater. Let's get the politicians who make the policy involved in this shit sooner than later, because the last thing we need is more tech bro billionaire controlling the narrative, right? So if we just very briefly take a look down at the list of attendees at this prestigious forum that we've got here, we've got Sam Altman, shout out WorldCoin, Jack Clark from Anthropic, Hugging Face, Aerospace Industries Association, Bill fucking Gates, CEO of NVIDIA, CEO of Palantir, which, whoa, right, CEO of IBM, Elon dipshit Twix Musk. We have the CEO of Microsoft, Google CEO, the Lizard King himself, Mark Zuckerberg, of course.
I'm concerned because there's nothing wrong.
The only people in this roster that I have identified as people who might put forth a human opinion that is not completely self-serving in terms of corporate profit interest, we have the American Federation of Teachers president, Randy Weingarten, and we have someone from the Writers Guild. That's probably good. We also have this woman named Maya Wiley. She is the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. To me, this is like, we're having a forum on the condition that gelflings are facing. It's a crisis. So we've invited all the prominent and wealthiest Skeksis to the forum to make positive and affirmative decisions about this. It's like inviting, the top tier, the upper echelon of the KKK to figure out what to do with affirmative action. It's absolutely foxes guarding the henhouse. It's, this shouldn't surprise anybody, but there is some shit that we can do about it. This is Chuck Schumer's phone number. So you go to his website, schumer.senate.gov, and it's like, and this is the thing that fucking kills me. Like, if I want to leave a comment, I've got to basically give him my freaking blood type over here, which is he wants my street address. Come on, Chuck. But you go in here, again, he has phone numbers. So we can, if I go all the way down here, I can see he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 offices, but you can actually call them. So I'm going to put the link. Just call him. This way you don't have to give him your blood type, but call him and let him know. Let's absolutely flood them and saying, look, you need to, creatives and the people who are being affected, who are having their work sucked into this. Let's be very clear. It's not just creatives. This is affecting everybody. I think we all understand that. But right now, you're my people, these are my people, our people. Let's leave this guy a lot of messages. Please be nice. Obviously, we're going to catch more flies with honey. Is he going to listen? I don't know. They really only care about one thing. I think that's fairly obvious, as I said. But go to the link, call this guy up. If you're not in the country, I'm not really sure what you can do in this context, but the next thing we're going to talk about, it doesn't matter where in the world you live, you can leave a comment on this. The Copyright Office is having another inquiry on generative AI. Now, they did this already, and I know a lot of us left comments. Now, currently, AI-generated material cannot be granted copyright. That is the current state of it. But that does not mean that many people have not been trying and are currently trying to flip this paradigm for no other reason than it would greatly benefit their business models. In response to all of this, it appears that the Copyright Office is kind of taking another look at this, and they're doing it again. Now, I can guarantee you the other side, the AI side, they are probably having bots flood these comments. I can't say that for sure. I'm obviously speculating. But go to the link in the description. It's Public Inspection Federal Register is going to be that link. And this is their outline about what they're trying to accomplish here. And starting on page 12 of that it's a pretty lengthy PDF. But starting on page 12 is where the meat is. And I'm not going to read all of these questions, but these are the points that they kind of want addressed. So instead of us just leaving comments like, hey, it's not art, it's not constructive, right? You know, the standard stuff we're going to say is, image scraping off the internet, how artists are not compensated for their work, things of this nature. We can actually be a little bit more targeted. So starting on page 12, they have quite a number of questions that they actually kind of want input on. And it's, I actually read all of these, and it's kind of interesting. There are questions here about, look, a lot of the things that concern us: copyrighted information, copyrighted data, people's work being fed into these things. But there are also other questions about, okay, if we were to construct some sort of registry, right, where if artists have to be asked for their work, how do you imagine that system could work, right? Should there be some sort of office that allows companies to put inquiries forward in order to obtain material for machine learning? What does that look like? This is very specific. They're talking about licensing, technical issues. This isn't just some big picture shit. I mean, it's definitely big picture shit because they're covering so many aspects of it. And I'm probably going to do another video. I'm going to read this entire thing to you. And I'm just not going to do that in this video. This is worthy of its own video. So go to this link, just look at this PDF and just read some of these questions. Read through it. It's only, we're not even done here yet. There's only 35 questions, guys, and there's only one that has like 10 parts. So it's only 60 questions. It's nothing. Go to the link, read the PDF. Now apparently there's been some issues with where to leave your comments. Initially, there was a form they had. You go click on comments. That page was coming up dead, but we found the actual page. You can actually leave a comment here, and you apparently can actually submit imagery. That's useful. I may post a document where we just kind of give a framework, and I'm not trying to lead anybody or tell anybody what they have to say or do. That's not what we do. That's not what I'm doing here. But information is good to have. Sometimes you look at something and go, oh, you know what? That's a good point. That's something that was on my mind, and this is a good way to say it. Feel free to take that, riff off of it, and put your own spin on it. But also speak your mind. Say how you feel. But I think saying things like AI art isn't art is not productive because that is absolutely subjective. I've said it a million times. You could take a picture of the dump you took this morning, print a nice contrasty black and white printout, put it on your wall and say, ta-da, that's my art. It's completely subjective. It's meaningless. The issue is artists having their work fed into AI ML training and basically being, completely displaced so that our soul can be sucked into a machine and sold back to corporations and people for a profit. That's the issue here. It's the insane level of greed being put forward by these companies in order to just take everybody's shit and make money off it. It's a grift. I think we all know that. There's nothing fair about it. Please go to the links down below. put comments forward. At the end of the day, even if your response to the Senate, to the Copyright Office, isn't perfectly targeted argument that nails every single point, the fact that enough people are submitting comments and letting them know that this is wrong, and even if you just say it feels wrong, there's something wrong here, letting these billionaires take all of our shit.
肉片および死人の所持品すべてを吸い取れ。ついでに椅子も。
So we have to be very vocal. Make sure you go to the links in the description. If you haven't seen these links on Twitter or somewhere else, please do not let the Skeksis determine what is good for the Gelflings. Period. I did say I had a little nugget of good news. And look, this isn't necessarily be all and end all good news, but we've had this kind of roller coaster in the UK where they go from, yeah, creatives need to be represented, to no, we need to be the AI research capital of the world to fuel our economy. And then you got people pushing back and saying, no. Like, the creative industries actually already make billions of dollars for our economy. We need to not throw them under the bus for a few entitled tech executives. So this has been a little bit of a roller coaster. And that's one of the reasons I don't report on every single thing. But this is good news right here. So apparently it says, abandon artificial intelligence copyright exemption to protect UK creative industries, MPs say. Essentially, what they're saying here is they are very concerned across multiple sectors about allowing the developers of AI to mine private intellectual property for work without sharing with the original creators, essentially saying like, yeah, you can't take our shit unless you compensate us. Having said that, I would prefer it's like, you just can't take our shit. Nothing is perfect, but just the fact that people are saying whoa, pump the brakes is good. Now, I think we are on this roller coaster here. I'll put the link to this. This is an actual parliamentary committee. Again, this is just people putting forth ideas. This isn't policy. The chair's comment here, she says, the chorus of warnings from musicians, authors, and artists about the real and lasting harm a failure to protect intellectual property in a world where the influence of AI is growing should be enough for ministers to sit up and take notice. The government must now start to rebuild trust by showing it really understands where the creative industries are coming from and develop a copyright and regulatory regime that properly protects them as AI continues to disrupt traditional cultural production. The development and use of creative technology is currently being hampered by a shortage in technical skills. For the UK to fulfill its potential as a world leader in the creative industries, the government must commit to ensuring the right skills are being taught to ensure a pathway for the next generation of digital artists. What this paragraph, what I'm interpreting it to be, is that teaching kids to prompt is a waste of fucking time. Teaching kids, young people, actual art skills is better. See the link to this down below. This is potentially some good news. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, my good friends, there's just a change.org petition here that I think is probably worth signing. It's only about a day old. And basically stop Etsy from selling AI generated art. And I think it's interesting. And look, this isn't a huge deal, but I think Etsy built its reputation on kind of bespoke handmade crafts, right? You don't go to Etsy to buy AI Drek. That's not really what you want, like a handmade beer koozie. So just go ahead. I'll put the link to this down below. Feel free to sign this petition as well. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with, in case you didn't see my other very short 2-minute video that I posted the other day, Meta, Facebook, so Meta is Facebook and Instagram, they are doing their own generative AI. Apparently there is some weird language around this. Let me make this just a wee scoochy boochy bigger so you can see it. But basically what's happening is they're giving us a chance to opt out of third-party AI training. Now, there's no language in here that says you can opt out of our generative AI training, but I think this is a start. Again, I'm going to put the link down below. It's incredibly vague. Shocking. I know. It's absolutely shocking. Why would they be vague in some terms of service opt out for generative AI where they just take your shit? Why can't they be more specific? Because being specific doesn't help them. But essentially, you have two options here. It says, do you want information about these third parties? The second one is, I want to delete any personal information from third parties. A couple people in the UK or outside of the United States, the EU, also have said that there is an additional option. I know Facebook has had some issues in the EU. The EU has been a little stricter and fined them quite a bit more. But in America, where I am, somebody come and rescue me, please. There's these three options. I have a different issue down here where you can explain your issue. I'm not sure if that's going to be a colossal waste of time, just ripping them a new one about generative AI in general. But follow the link. Make sure you opt yourself out of third-party generative AI training. It's more rules for thee and not for me, but it's a start. And at this point, it's the bare minimum that we can do. From my understanding and Facebook Meta's own omission, they have said that when you delete things off of Instagram or Facebook, it lives on their servers for 1 month. So one of the conversations that we've been having in the Discord is, well, should I just delete everything right now? Should I just completely wipe my Instagram? Should I completely wipe my Facebook? Personally, I don't really use Facebook. I think I logged in there once in the past 12 years. It's a ridiculous cesspool. Instagram, I haven't posted much past couple of years for obvious reasons, algorithm, yada, yada, yada. But if you were to delete everything off your Instagram, would it stop them from training all of your imagery, photography, artwork into a generative AI? Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, if we think for a half a second that they're not already training our shit into their generative AI, well, we're going to be in for a rude awakening. I think they obviously already have been doing that, and that's probably old news. We're going to hear about this probably, I don't know when we're going to hear about their generative AI model, but they have already put their make a video model. You can go to that website. They're just, scraping YouTube videos and feeding it into their make a video. So of course they started this a long time ago. Now, are they using all of our stuff on Instagram? Would it be incredibly naive of me to say I don't think so? Because I very much do think so. And really nothing, to quote Jane's Addiction, the great Perry Farrell, nothing shocking. So go to the links. Look, we have homework to do right now, friends. We have to contact Chuck Schumer if you live in America, especially if you live in New York, and let him know this is absolute horseshit. You can't be having the foxes decide henhouse policy. We need to leave comments on the copyrights comment board and let them know what we think and how we feel. Again, I'll probably make another video and I'm going to read the whole thing, and I'm sure people will click on it and go like, oh my God, my brain is coming out of my nose. I'm probably going to do it anyway. We have to let them know where we stand, and we cannot let these AI companies, because this is setting precedent that is going to affect so many other things. Look, we live in a society that is not ready for this. We are absolutely not ready to live in the post-scarcity world that they claim, the utopia, where AI handles everything and people are free to just pursue their pleasure and passions. Our society is absolutely not remotely set up for that. It will burn before a phoenix of a world rises from the ashes. Now, maybe, look, that might be a big picture, philosophical conversation like, well, that's just the way things go. And it's almost impossible to transition smoothly. And maybe not. All I know is that when I see a bunch of entitled billionaire grifter pieces of shit sucking everybody's life's work into a model to spin it around their probability predicting model so they can sell it back to people as something freaking innovative and world changing, yeah, that pisses me off, because at the end of the day, you either stand for something or you fall for anything. And I, my friends, would rather live on my feet than die on my motherfucking knees. So I'm going to stop there. Wish you all good luck in the wars to come. Don't forget to be creative. Do your painting. Do the things that you love. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Peace.